Hello, this is Grace, and I'd like to share a healing technique with you. It's a very simple technique and very powerful. This is the masculine and feminine brain technique from the Aconnect Share class, and which is a wonderful half-day seminar that I think everybody should use. This is a technique that is very important to use whenever you've had an injury or a shock of any kind, and whether it be an emotional shock or a physical shock. The technique itself is very simple. The principle is that you want to reconnect the two halves of the brain and the mind on all levels, because that's the first thing that happens when you've injured yourself, is the brain goes into shock and then you can't heal because it's not talking to itself. So what you're thinking when you're doing this is, I want to reconnect the two halves of my brain and the two halves of my mind so that they're connected again. To do this, it's very simple. You indicate the two halves of your head to indicate the two halves of your brain, and you think, I want to reconnect left and right sides, male and female sides, yin and yang, so that everything is working together. And as you do this, you're going to tap, doesn't matter with which hand, you tap over your brain, thinking, brain, reconnect the two halves of the two halves so that it works together. And then you tap over your heart and you think, heart, observe what the brain just did and memorize that and tell the rest of the system about it. And as you do this, you want to breathe, because when you breathe, your brain is making a whole scan of your whole system. So you want to breathe deeply, 2 or 3 breath cycles. And breathe, keep tapping and breathing until you feel some kind of shift. Some people feel a kind of relaxation suddenly, or they start to yawn. That's what my symptom usually is. And so I'm going to tap until I yawn. Breathing deeply. So all the way out and all the way in. Again, thinking about reconnecting the two halves of the brain and the two halves of the mind. Lots of people find this very relaxing. So this is a good thing to do if you can't sleep, if you can't relax, if you have any kind of test you have to go through, or any kind of situation that you know you have to be in top form. I'm just going to keep tapping, tapping until it switches for me. It's actually very, very powerful. It seems like nothing, but if you've cut yourself and you do this, you'll notice that the bleeding stops very, very quickly. You may have to repeat it a couple times, but do so and you'll be delighted with what happens. It's not limited to only physical things. I mean, if you have had a shock, that will also help. And we've had very good results using it with people who've been actually even quite seriously injured, injured enough to end up in coma, and they actually wake up. Of course, they still have whatever it is that sent them into coma, so they're not out of the woods. But it's a really wonderful thing to be able to wake somebody up. So if you'd like to know more about this, there's a button that you can click, or a link or something. This is only a very small fraction of what we do, but I think it's also very important that people learn it. So if you would like to learn it, we do teach the class. Soon it will be available as a webinar that you can learn online. And all the information is below this video in the link. Thank you.